Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Welcome to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast with James Wilson and Rob Eickhoff.
Semi-seconds in automatic minutes, finishing to diminish the position that was given risen.
Boom.
Okay, we're back.
We are back.
Episode 43.
43.
We're going to title this episode, What Happens in Vegas Doesn't Actually Stay in Vegas, especially for jiu-jitsu people.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about some Masters World stuff. We are bookending this. The last episode, Rob was getting ready to go to Masters World.
We recorded on Tuesday, I left on Wednesday, went and competed. And today's Sunday, and you literally flew back. And made your way here. Yeah, my bags are still packed.
And yeah, so we're going to get the debriefing fresh off the plane. So, he hasn't had a chance to think about what he actually wants to repeat and what he doesn't want to repeat.
That was a concern. So I made some notes.
Oh, no.
To keep me on track.
All right. So, yeah.
Keep me on track.
So, first off, how was your trip back? You do the standby.
It went smooth.
It went smooth?
Yeah, I thought I was going to get back earlier. I misread my itinerary. I thought I was going to land in Junction at like 12:30 today.
Oh, okay.
And I was all stoked. My flight, because I flew from Vegas to Phoenix to Grand Junction.
Yeah.
And then my flight didn't leave Phoenix until 12:30. And I had misread it earlier in the trip.
That's cool, though. So
it went smooth. But I do got a funny story about that.
All right.
This is pretty good. So on my flight from Phoenix to Junction, I get sit down next to this old guy, and he's blind, or pretty much like 99% blind.
Okay.
Right? He's got the glasses, the fucking feeler stick, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Right? So he's sitting on the aisle. It's a 2-seat thing. I got to squeeze by him. I'm sitting in the window, and he starts chatting me up right away. I'm like, oh, God. And he was a chatty fucking Cathy, man. Like, this dude wanted to talk. In other sense, it didn't work, so he wanted to fucking talk.
Right.
And usually like plane etiquette, like I'll talk, we're just sitting down, everybody's getting on the plane. But as soon as like the plane gets going, man, I'll put on my headphones and read or something.
Yeah.
But as soon as you see somebody start reading or putting on their headphones, okay, they don't want to be bothered anymore.
Right.
This motherfucker's blind.
Right. So he can't take the visual cues.
He can't take the visual cues. So God damn it, I got my headphones on. I had finished, I plowed through 2 books on this trip. I didn't talk about that.
Nice.
I read 2 good books, but so I was just listening to podcasts and just chilling. And he kept fucking talking to me, man, and talking to me. And finally, he kind of picked up on it because I was giving shorter answers. But, so that was kind of funny in itself, I mean, he was nice, he wasn't, he was not until this. So then, towards the end of the flight, I couldn't make this up, dude. This is weird. He starts chatting me up. And he can see like silhouettes. So I think he seen me take my headphones off, and I was just like green light go. Like he was ready to fucking finish our talk. And I ended up asking him like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he said, "Oh, West Palm Beach, Florida, or something." Right? I was like, "Oh, that must be nice." He's like, "Well, it is nice, except for all the goddamn crime that goes on from all the fucking illegal immigrants." And he just started going on this racist rant. He's like, "They come in. All the blacks and Cubans and Mexicans, and I don't know what they all are, but they just come in on the fucking boats and they start robbing everything. And both our stewardesses or flight attendants are black." And I'm like, oh my God, this guy can't see anything. There's several Mexican people around us on the plane. I'm like, what is going on here? How do I handle this? I just fucking clammed up, man. I didn't know what to say. Because I didn't want to fire him up anymore. Yeah. I didn't want to be like, well, Florida's full of a lot of stupid fucking white people, too.
You should have told him, "Sir, you're black, too, right?"
I thought about that. Like Clayton Bigsby.
Exactly.
But he went on a rant, and I was like, oh my God. This is so fucking uncomfortable. And he stopped. Yeah. Somehow I kind of changed. I got him off that path. I just completely, came up with something to change the path of the conversation so he'd stop going on a racist rant.
Huh.
It was interesting.
So you think you voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm certain. I am certain of that.
Huh. Interesting.
That was interesting.
Yeah, well, good.
But I made it back.
Made it back?
Yeah, dude, you know what's funny? I just thought about that. Because that was at the end of the trip. And the very last Uber driver I had last night in Vegas had one fucking arm. He was talking to you and being a nice guy, but he lost the arm in like Desert Storm or some shit.
Yeah.
But he liked to use his phone while he was driving. So if you can just vision that, the dude is driving with one arm and using his smartphone to navigate and text and talk. Dude, I'm so fucking nervous. I said, Jesus Christ, man. How do I get an Uber driver with one arm? And he's texting like a motherfucker with one arm while he's driving. I didn't even know how he was doing it.
He was getting it done.
He was getting it done, man. We didn't crash.
Oh, the public.
I know, it's funny.
Interacting with the public, man, is always interesting.
In Vegas is not the normal public.
No.
That is a whole nother
Yeah.
reality, man.
No, you sent me that picture of that dude who was a billboard.
The walking billboard. A digital walking billboard.
Yeah.
And there was two of them. They were like in a team. Like one guy was carrying it, and he had like a battery pack and this big ass fucking backpack, light up billboard on his back. And then he had a buddy that was like wearing the same work outfit, but he didn't have a billboard, so I don't know if they walk and take turns or something.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen that, man. A digital walking billboard.
Hey, man, $20 is $20.
20 bucks is 20.
So.
True.
I'm not a billboard, but
But
$20 is $20. Right on. So, yeah, but competition-wise, I mean, it was that was good.
it was good, man. I lost. Yeah, I lost 5-0. Dude was pretty tough, but he didn't feel like he was like better than I was. I mean, he won, but I didn't feel I wasn't getting outclassed.
I didn't see your match. What happened? Did you get a takedown or pass your guard or like what?
Those two.
Those two.
Takedown ultimately ended up passing. But then I put him back in my closed guard, and that was pretty much like the extent of the match.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
so
it's tough.
That was it.
At that point.
5-0.
Yeah.
But no, man, like the biggest takeaway from it, like you and I were talking about it like that day, like going into this is like the first tournament going into at black belt, like that I wasn't nervous. I mean, I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
You get nervous before you compete, no matter what. There was a little bit of nerve, but I finally realized, like, because this I think was like my 4th tournament at black belt or something. Like all the tournaments leading up to this one, I always just had like this state of mind that all these black belts that I was going to compete against had like this fucking superpower.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to go in and just get fucked up. Like
Yeah.
I just didn't belong there. And I finally came to the realization going into this tournament, like, why am I thinking that? You know, like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All I got to do is trust my jiu-jitsu and just fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, of course, there is some super studs out there.
Right.
And if you get run into them, you run into them. But, you know, but then I don't know what really clicked. Is because I came to the realization, I think it was like Wednesday night, I was laying there trying to fall asleep, and something just clicked. I was like, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I get my ass whooped, right? You know, I get fucking just mauled like Pimenta does at the gym, right? Just fucking mollywopped.
Yeah.
I was like, if that's the worst case scenario, I've experienced that. That's no big fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, like I went through the point raping at the first time at black belt.
Point raping, yeah.
You know, I've had my ass whooped several times. You know, at competing by now. Like I've experienced in my mind what is the worst case scenario, and I'm alive. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about it except for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so once that for some reason like that clicked, and I was like, oh, all I got to do is show up and fucking do my thing.
Just found a better story to tell yourself.
Yeah, that's what it was, man. I was amped and a little bit excited, but really, like, there was no, like, nerves, man. I was confident.
Yeah,
You know,
nice.
so it was good, dude. That was, like, I count that as a win, like, being able to, like, make that mental shift.
Yeah, no, I
So-
agree for sure, man. I mean, that's congrats for that. I mean, that is a win for making that. I mean, we've talked about it before that competition's a funny thing for several reasons, but one is measuring success. Like it can and should be a lot of times like a personal yardstick. So just stepping on the mat the first time at black belt was a win for you, right? I think we talked about that a little bit. Like maybe you were in your head a little bit too much because you were expecting too much that first match. Where it's like, you remember I had to tell you, like, what the fuck did you expect to happen, man? Like, what were you thinking? So eventually you just that's part of the journey. So it's I'm glad to see it click for you there because you definitely deserve it, man. I mean, your fucking jiu-jitsu is tough. I mean, I certainly don't like it when you're in a bad mood.
It was a good click. And then, I mean, there was another thing I thought about too is You could, and then it really sunk in with me. Is I was standing mat side basically waiting to go, and the match prior to us was coming off, and I knew the guy, and he's like, "Oh, who you got first round?" And I was like, "I don't know, some guy that wears a gi and does jiu-jitsu." He started laughing. He's like, "You don't know who he is?" I was like, "No, does it fucking matter?" And he kind of looked at me. He's like, "Nope. It doesn't matter."
It doesn't
I was like, all I can do is go out there and do my best jiu-jitsu. He kind of chuckled and laughed because he's kind of in.
Yeah.
The guy I was talking to, like I just from that impression, I get like he looks up his opponent and like tries to study him and shit. And I'm just like,
what's their tendencies.
I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of here with that, man. Because
Yeah.
all you're gonna do is get in your own head.
Yeah.
You're gonna start googling that fucking guy, seeing what tournaments he's won and shit. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All you can do is go out there and fuck him, do yours, do what you're gonna do.
Right.
If he presents a problem, deal with it. But that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was all like, "Oh, who you going against?" I was like, "That guy in the gi over there.
Dude over there.
That apparently does jiu-jitsu also because he's here to compete."
He signed up as well.
They
let him in.
They let him in. So I think we're in the same sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's all you can do. You can't because you can't. I know it's cliche or whatever, but you can't worry about that shit. You have zero fucking control over, man.
Yeah.
You have no control over who that guy is. What he's done, how good he is, or how bad he is, if he's strong that day, whatever. You have zero fucking control over that. So all you can control is the decisions you make. And that's like the first decision you make. Am I fucking nervous? Am I getting in my own head, or am I dealing with this shit?
Yeah.
That's like the first one you're making. Oh, I made that, cool.
Stepping on the mat.
Stepping on, yeah.
In a good mind space. That's such an important part of competing.
Yeah.
So.
I think not stressing out about making weight was very beneficial.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I weighed in light. Like with my gi, I was like 162. And the cutoff is 168. And so I was, that was another thing that was kind of getting in my head. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be kind of little for this division. No, dude. I mean, because I'm fairly strong physically. I'm not the most physically strong guy, but I'm not, a scrawny runt.
Yeah.
But I'm not that small for that division.
Yeah, well, the same day weigh-ins keeps that shit in check.
Yeah, keeps it in check.
You're not dealing
Because the dude I went against, I mean, we were almost like identical in size.
Yeah.
It felt like. I mean, we were about the same height, same build and everything. You know what I mean?
I know, man. I know at the fight to wins, man. I've had a few where I'm stepping in the mat against someone where I'm like, I remember that one match where you were coaching me and they were like, you're up, and I look at this dude and I ask you like, wait, this is who I'm going against? And you're like, apparently. And I'm like, all right, here we go. That was fucking closed guard, and that was the dude I got with the puka guard choke.
Yeah, I remember that. And we didn't know if it was legal.
I didn't know if it was legal, if they were going to call that, feed my hand through the collar that way. And I remember we were at the end of the match. I'm pretty sure it was 0-0 or something, and tied. And I was like, fuck it. Like, this is a good time to check out and see if they're going to call this or not. Because, if I'm going to a ref's decision, like, whatever. So that was my whole thought process. I'm like, either going to get disqualified or I'm going to sink puka guard in on this guy and see what happens. And I remember when I sunk it in, and it's funny, I got the video and I remember you commented, like, you can see me, like, glance over at you with a little smirk. And I was like, oh, dude, this is going...
I remember just kind of shrugging my shoulders, like, all right.
They're going to let you get that grip.
Let's see what happens.
I was like, dang, dude. So, worked out good. Got to choke with it. But yeah, that's the same day weigh-in, I think, helps with that.
It helps with that
for sure. You're not dealing with someone who might be 10 pounds heavier than you if you're on the low end of your fucking weight class. But
that definitely helps.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. A lot of things, a lot of good.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it sucks to lose, but I learned some good stuff from it, man. So I got to watch some real high level jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
So that's good.
It's always good matches, all right. Masters Worlds, I mean.
Yep.
So yeah, Pimenta lost.
That Japanese dude that beat him was fucking good. He ended up winning the division.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of his matches. He was so unassuming. Like, you just see him walking around the tournament. You could tell he did jiu-jitsu or something. He's got fucked up ears and he's got some scar tissue on his face. And you can tell he's been in some battles. But yeah, he doesn't look like a straight assassin. Fucker was good, dude.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
That's what Kelly was saying. She's like, this is a guy, you pass him on the street, like, you wouldn't even think twice about him, but he's a fucking killer.
Yeah.
So,
killer, and he's smart. He plays the game.
Yeah.
And that's something I picked up, too, watching Pimenta in one of his matches. Like, he hit the takedown, got the first 2 points, and he was up on points. I don't know if it was just 2-0 or if he got another 2 or something, but And then whatever happened, Pimenta was standing up, and the guy got De La Riva guard, sort of, and Pimenta just kind of stood there. Because at that point, he doesn't have to do anything. It's on that guy to move.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to pass. He's up on points.
Yeah.
So he can just take his sweet-ass fucking time. And you see that. I mean, it's a sport.
Yeah.
You know, and you're playing the game.
Strategy is part of the sport.
It is part of the sport, man. Like, you know, we like to play simulated murder in the gym and just fucking go for kill. But, man, if you're up on points and you're in a tournament when you got 60 guys in your bracket and you get to the mount,
yeah,
there ain't no sense of going for the fucking kill.
No, I hear you.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Let him gas himself out because you might have several more matches, you know, and so, or you're up on points, you don't need to pass. He has to do something. And if he's laying on his back, not fucking doing anything, good for you. Time's ticking away.
Yeah.
So I picked up, you know, some of those things. Like,
that's situational awareness.
Situational awareness. You know, being smart about it.
Yeah. I remember that happened to me. I got someone in my closed guard and I was up on points. There was about a minute left and I was like, all right, I just got to move enough to not get called for stalling. But
if you're it's on definitely more on the guy on top.
Oh yeah, it's like this is my first match. You know, I got several more matches after this. Like, there's no reason for me like burn all my energy out trying to go for the kill. Whereas like in the gym, you know, playing or you know going you know wrestling how we usually do. Like hell yeah, I kept fucking going for shit all the way up until the end. And if I got my guard pass, like shit with a minute left, I'd probably be more aggressive because I know if I get in a super shitty position, like. You know, okay, whatever. I don't got to survive it that long. But, yeah, you got to think about it differently.
You do.
In a tournament, it's a different mindset. But
you know, and, I was thinking about that. Like, if you are going to spend a lot of time competing, it shouldn't be that different of a mindset. Like, you should train like that more often. You know, that's something I was thinking about watching some of these matches and the strategy.
Yeah.
You know, for example, you know, that bad habit I have. You know, like if you get into a scramble, like say the guy goes for a sweep, but he doesn't quite have it, and you could either try to scramble like a motherfucker and not give in to anything, or you could like pull guard and start from there. You know, in the gym a lot of times, they're like, oh, fuck it, I'll pull guard and play guard. Well, you just gave up 2 points. Mm-hmm. Instead of scrambling to like at least get to your knees, a turtle, and then, you know, get out of there so you're not giving up points. If he initiated that sweep and then you pull guard, you just gave up 2. And... I mean, I see that for like training the gym purposes, but if you are going to be competitive, like I think that's a habit you got to kind of get away from.
Yeah,
there's pros and cons to it. I see both sides. I thought a lot about it. There's both sides to it, but like, bottom line, if you're going to play the sport, you have to have those fucking habits.
Yeah,
to where you're not giving up anything. It's
a little bit. I mean, like use the word camp just because it's kind of a familiar term for people, but. I mean, that's honestly where a competition team and having some sort of your competition training, at the very least for a few weeks leading up to it, like really zeroing in on, all right, this is what you're doing, you know, keeping points and, you know, stuff like that. Because the thing is you know, you want to keep a decently rounded style of jiu-jitsu. I mean, I think we both agree that someone who only plays points is fucking boring, you know? Like, you may be a murderer on the local tournament scene and you know, great, but it's like, I don't know, it can lead to some stagnation in some areas. So you want to have that, but it's like, I totally agree. Like, that's where, like, training for competition, it's not necessarily trying to kill each other for an hour, you know, 5 minutes on with a minute rest. Like there's so many different things that go into competition. You know, what's the rule set? Because now you've got this new Grappler's Quest tournament that I guess they allow reaping. Like they don't have that rule even in the gi. So, you know, you're starting to see some tournaments that like what would be a pretty hard and fast rule set in a lot of tournaments, like, oh wait a minute, this tournament, like you can get stuck in the honey hole in the gi, so you better know how to fucking defend it. So like knowing like what are you competing in? What are you competing at? And then spending a few weeks, it doesn't have to be the focus of your training 365 days out of the year, but yeah, definitely having that focus for a few weeks. You know, leading up to that, and that's all like a fight camp is, right? Like you're taking a fighter and he's saying, okay, I'm competing in 8 weeks, and what's the competition? And now we're gonna like focus everything I've been doing to like refine myself, my mindset, my physical skills, everything for that specific competition. What's happening, and so it's scaling. It's the same mindset that you just use it on a different scale. But no, it's definitely important, and if you don't do it, because it's not like wired in you, because we roll differently in the gym than the tournament necessarily. Like sitting down, like pulling guard, we saw it happen to our coach. Like he went to pull guard and somebody tapped his leg on the way down, and 2 points. And it's like, no man, he was pulling guard, and when they got to the ground, like he was in a position like working shit, but it's like according to the rule set, that's a takedown.
And it's subjective on the ref too. There's definitely some subjectivity there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, it's but it is what it is, man. When you sign up and you say, all right, I'm gonna go play this game. I'm agreeing to this rule set.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold myself to these rules and see who's the best according to this. But no, it's funny. Like you said, it's in the book 5 Rings, Musashi said something about like, if you're the best, you will win. If you not, you're gonna lose. There's nothing to argue about. So like,
yeah, you both agree to the same set of rules.
Yeah,
and
nothing to argue about, man. If you
nothing
win,
to argue about.
Lose, just fucking go on with it. So yeah, that's sounds good. My wife did pretty good. I watched her matches on Flow Grappling. Yep. So it was fun seeing her. It's a bummer I couldn't be there.
Yeah, she did real good. But she had 3 matches, right? Two. She had 2, lost the second one.
Yeah, the first
one. Ref's decision, right?
It was a bullshit ref's decision.
Because I was over coaching Deborah when she was going on.
Yeah, the first one, she did really good. She ended up getting like a scissor sweep type sweep, got to mount. And it's funny, I could see the moment where the girl realized she did not want to be on that mat with Kiele. And you could see the fight was gone, and she was like, I think Kiele could have gotten anything and just like blown on her, and she would have tapped. Like she wanted the fuck out of there. And Kiele kept the pressure on and got her with a good Ezekiel choke. And then the second girl she went against, and her and I have talked about this, she agrees, the mistake that it looked like she made was she sat down to pull guard, and she sat down and sat for half a second. She didn't sit right into something, and she's really good about sitting right into like shin on shin guard or sitting into stuff, and that half a beat, the girl started to move. She got her knees pinched and started moving, and Kiele couldn't get that half a beat back, and the girl got like some half-ass guard pass attempt. It wasn't like really threatening, and in the process, Kiele ended up re-guarding, and then got her in her closed guard. But the girl had an advantage, and she's up an advantage, and dude, it was so clutch. I was so pumped. I'm like yelling at the screen. I'm like, she had like less than a minute left, and I saw her look at the clock, and she saw the situation, so she knew she had to do something. So man, and the girl knows she's got to do something. So everybody knows she's got to do something. They were tied at advantages. No. The girl was up an advantage. Oh, okay. All she had was that guard pass attempt. So she's up an advantage, but Kiele's got her in her closed guard, and dude, she freaking ripped that arm across, set up her arm bar, went for the arm bar. The ref, for whatever reason, didn't see it or didn't call it, but the girl had to rip her arm out to defend it. And Kiele threw the triangle and ended the match with like the triangle like 80% locked up. She was still working to get it locked in, but she had her legs like, triangled and was working it in. But the ref gave her an advantage for that. So ref's decision, and I'm like, dude, that was so clutch to get that thrown and get that advantage at the end. I'm telling the kids we're watching, I'm like, she's gonna win. Like, submission attempt fucking trumps a guard pass. Like, come on. And nah, the dude freaking gives the decision to the other girl. I was like, that is horseshit. Like, on a stick. Like, on what planet does a half-ass guard passing attempt trump a fucking, like, solid submission attempt?
That ref's planet, apparently.
Yeah. So, I know I'm biased. That's fine. I'm fully aware of that.
You definitely should be.
I think that was nonsense. But it was funny. I was thinking about it. But if you think about it from the IBJJF's point of view, and I know it's cliche now since Danaher pointed it out and he kind of made this unconscious thing conscious, but their version of jiu-jitsu, get the takedown, pass the dangerous legs, secure dominant position, go for the submission. Like that's their roadmap. So if you're judging who did a better job of executing that roadmap, the other girl did. Mm-hmm. Like in their mind, Kelly's sitting down and her being on that. So, you can sit there and you can, like, I can argue and see, like, all right, like according to their vision, their version of jiu-jitsu, if you're going to say like who executed their roadmap better, well, that girl did. But if your version of jiu-jitsu is who almost pretend killed the other person, and then if that doesn't happen, then we start, but it's like submission, like that's the point. We're trying to, but that's not the vision. But again, it just goes back to knowing your rule set, man.
And that's a tough thing, man. We've seen it time and time again. Shitty ref decisions, shitty judges.
Yeah, I mean, you take that point. I just got to say, like, because it happened to Kevin, too. Like, Kevin also, besides having something similar happen to him where he went to pull guard, and just in their interpretation of jiu-jitsu, that results in points for the other guy. He also sat back for an ankle lock attempt, and the guy just came up, oh, there's a sweep, there's 2 points. It's bullshit. It's like all the points he gave up to that guy were basically nonsense technical points based on their interpretation of jiu-jitsu, him pushing the action, but some technical interpretation of what's happening there leading to points. And it's like, man, at some point, the rules are so biased against anyone who's got any sort of fucking leg game. And I'm not even saying that you got to be able to finish leg locks, but leg locks are a viable fucking option for opening up people's guards, for passing people's guards, and submission attempts themselves. And when you have the rules set up the way that they are, like, it is so biased against the leg locker. If you sit down to take bottom position, you're already behind the game. If you sit back for an ankle lock with somebody's ankle, someone can come up for points. Like, you can't even use your whole fucking arsenal of leg locks until black belt or brown belt. And even then, the fucking heel hooks aren't allowed in gi situations. So it's like, it's insane how biased those fucking rules are. And again, I don't even care. I'm not even saying leg locks, hashtag leg locks don't work. Like, whatever, right? I don't give a fuck. They are a viable guard passing thing. If people have to worry about leg locks, then they play the game differently. They can't
just throw their feet up there in your head.
They can't just throw their feet up there like that. And you using that to pass their guard is a viable guard passing, even if you still want to go with that interpretation. Like, that's how I get past the crazy legs. Like, I fucking sit back for an ankle lock, I pass it over, I come up, and hey, I'm in a leg drag position. I'm fucking past the crazy legs. Let's go from here. But if you, in a tournament situation where if I sit back and this dude comes up and now he's down 2 points,
all he has to do is come up to one knee.
Yeah, and then just hunker down and sit there and not do shit. So I can't just get him back down and start working my pass. Well, that takes that out, and it's so. Anyways, that was one fucking message I got loud and clear from the IBJJF with how they were scoring the matches from our teammates that I saw. So, anyways, again, it is what it is. Right, but when you step back and you look at it, it's a little absurd how archaic the rule set is. So if you think hashtag leg locks don't work, like, fucking let them in, man. What are you scared of?
Or go to tournaments where they are allowed.
I know. I'm just kind of talking like IBJJF. Like we talked about this the last time. It's like the IBJJF in some ways is like the UFC or the major leagues. Yeah. Like they are the fucking 800-pound gorilla in the room. And so their rule set is going to influence the sport in a very strong way. And so them, they have an influence that way. So yeah, we can vote with our dollars. I totally encourage, like I said, they got that Grappler's Quest. I hope I'm getting that right.
Grappler's Quest is Grappler's Quest and Nagas, they both have been around a long ass time. and both of them are pretty
It's
lenient.
not grapplers. Yeah, there's a new one.
Grappling Industries?
Yes, Grappling Industries.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I apologize, Grappling Industries. But yeah, I've actually heard a couple people who've competed there and had some good things to say. But apparently, like, reaping is not an issue at those tournaments. And so, anyways, yeah, like, vote with your dollar, support these other tournaments, these other outlets. But at the end of the day, pretending like, the IBJJF doesn't have some sort of influence over the direction of the sport through their rule set is just a little naive. So, but anyways, that's my
rant.
My fucking rant. So, yeah, I don't like seeing my coach and my wife jobbed like that. It's like it felt, she was just fucking, they did the JOB, went out there and got jobbed. So, but anyways,
that happens, man.
Everybody put in like good effort. We had Deborah.
Deborah came home with silver.
Came home with silver.
She had, I think 3 matches?
Yeah, I think so. I missed her last one. I was trying to watch it on Flow, and somehow I missed it.
For the second place?
Yeah. Yep.
And she had that girl was tough that beat her.
Yeah.
It was a good match.
Had to be. But it, I guess, would it get her in a triangle? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, it was basically a triangle. I guess she kind of tapped it. It was more like the triangle itself wasn't like choking her.
Yeah.
I guess the girl's legs were kind of like on her ribs and chest, and she was really squeezing. And she said it was just like squeezing the air out of her there is what caused
the
the
choke.
Yeah.
It's funny because Deborah's like one of the most flexible people you'll run into.
You should have seen how far her arm got cranked a few times.
Yeah,
in that match.
trying to get her with a joint lock is
this girl had
very hard.
She had like a Kimura at one point and had like Deborah's arm like twisted up to her ear.
Yeah.
And I wasn't concerned because I know how flexible she is.
Yeah.
I was like, she ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
There was a few of them. I was like, like a normal person's shoulder would be shredded by there.
Yeah. Yeah, Deborah's just smiling like,
yeah, she's like, all right, how do I get out of here?
I don't know, what do I do? So, but you get your legs wrapped around their neck and start squeezing.
Doesn't matter how flexible you are.
Yeah, you're not gonna out tough. So
you gotta breathe.
Yeah.
Now she did good. Laura did good. Laura had a tough match. And Laura didn't lose by much either. Points.
Yeah, I mean, I missed
remember
the beginning of her match, unfortunately. But when I
can't remember right off the top of my head.
She lost 5-0. And when I tuned in, so probably something similar. Like when I tuned in, she was in, I can't remember. They were in closed guard. I forget like who was in whose, but all the action had happened already. But
all of them had a tough match. Angela had a tough match.
Yeah.
Nadia, I think Nadia won 1 or 2, right, and then lost like the third one.
Yeah.
So they all fought hard.
Did good.
And then they all ended up with purple belts.
Yeah, we got 4 new
purple belts.
4 new purple belts.
So now we have 5-6 purple belt chicks. We got a whole army.
Yeah, we do, huh?
Purple belt chicks, yeah.
Do we have more purple belt chicks than dudes?
I think we do.
So there's me, Corey, Brian,
Nate. Is that 4? John, Lawyer John. I'm not sure if he likes that nickname, but that's what
his
he
name.
is. That's what
I
he
know.
is.
I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry, man. We're
not
not very imaginative around here.
That's not offensive.
Tofu James, Maytag Mauler.
I tell you the nickname I came up with Deborah. She likes it.
No.
The Irish Car Bomb.
Irish Car Bomb. I can see that.
Because we got the Hawaiian Hurricane.
Yep.
The Irish Car Bomb.
Yep.
I was trying to come up with nicknames from all this weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with any other real good ones that stuck.
Okay.
But anyways.
We'll see if that one sticks.
I digress. I don't think it will. It's not real catchy. It's not as catchy as the Hawaiian Hurricane.
No. But yeah, no, man. Congrats to all those girls. They've been working hard.
Yeah.
They all deserve it.
It was pretty cool.
And Kelly was telling me they were all getting a picture there at the end, and it's cool because a bunch of our coaches were there from our coach's coach. Pimenta was there, Rolly was there, Bruno was there. All 3 guys that have come and trained with us and been part of their journey. So I guess they kind of helped since there were so many girls that needed belt swapping out, help Kevin out. But Kelly said it was pretty cool. She was, definitely didn't have any clue it was coming. I knew for a while it was tough keeping it a secret. I couldn't even tell the kids because I didn't want to.
They would have spoiled it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't want something to pop out. So I told Shiloh a couple days ago, like after Kelly had left. And then, it was hard not to say anything.
I almost screwed up and sort of gave it away. I was out hanging out with all the girls. Like, they competed Friday.
Yeah.
I was out hanging out with them Thursday night. You know, they're doing girl shit, running around shopping or whatever, and I'm running around with them. And we were in like this fight store in Vegas, you know, looking at rash guards and spats and shit.
Yeah.
And one of them was picked up a pair of like purple spats or some shit. And I almost fucked up and said something. I just had to walk away. Like, it was close. I was like, and I walked away real quick. Like, oh, shit, don't want to give that one away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. That was good. I'm glad she got to go do that. It would have been good for me to have been there, but I think it being a girls' trip, especially with Angela, her and her bestie, her Matt bestie, had a good time. So it is good. Man, none of them drink. That was a funny thing. They were all out partying and having fun, but not getting all drunk. So as a husband, I was a little more relieved. I didn't have to worry about that because Vegas can get out of hand quickly. Find yourself jogging home.
Speaking from experience.
Speaking from experience. I know I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, my wife's so awesome. I love her so much, and she's you know, just whatever reason, about a year and a half ago, she decided to stop drinking for a month and is just stuck. And she's, you know, just her deal now. And I was thinking, I was like, dude, I have fucking pulled some shit on her when I've been in Vegas. There's been a few times where I've been out drinking late, not quite sure how I made it home. You know, she's like calling people, wondering like, have you seen James? Where's, you know, what happened to him? I'm like, dude, I'm so bad. Like, I'm so glad my wife is
more responsible
than me. So, anyways, she knows me, man. I'm 100% hers. If anything, I'm just gonna fucking. It's like, how did I get home? Right? Like, that's my deal more than anything else. So I just party till it's time to go home, and then I'm like, I don't want to wait. I can't wait for a taxi.
No, I'm just sprinting.
I'm just gonna just walk home, and then it turns into a sprint.
Cause might as well work out.
Vegas is so far, man. The scale there just fucks you all up.
Fucks you up, dude. You see something?
Like, it's right there, man.
It's not that far. You start walking.
Like half an hour later, you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because it's very rarely is it just a direct route. Especially if you have to go through a casino or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah.
I was all stoked. Me being a delivery guy came into a fucking big play this weekend. So where I was staying at these condos, I was riding that monorail around town. You know, they got that big sky rail there in Vegas. And I could get to one of the stops pretty easy at the Valley, at the the casino, Bally's. So, but if I was to walk from my condo like to the front entrance of Bally's and then back through to the monorail, like that's a fucking like an hour walk, dude.
Yeah.
That's a endeavor. Well, I was headed that way the second time I went to go catch it, and I was gonna head to like the front entrance of the casino just because that's just what you do, right? And I looked down the side street, and it was where all the loading docks and shit were. And it looked real familiar to me. That's what I do for a living. I'm used to scoping that shit out and seeing where I can go. I'm like, well, generally where there's loading docks, there's like employee entrances and shit. And, you know, employees got to commute back and forth using the rails and stuff. I was like, I'm going to head down there. So I boogied down the side street. And sure shit, man, there was like a fucking back. It wasn't quite an employee entrance, but it was not meant for tourist.
Right.
I mean, because I was walking past the loading docks and the dumpsters and the forklifts. It was all stinky and shit. And there was a little entrance right there, right to the fucking monorail. Dude, it shaved. Every time I went to go catch that monorail, it shaved like 45 minutes off my fucking walk, dude. I was so stoked up.
Just gotta know where the straight lines are in Vegas.
You do, because they don't want you taking those straight lines. They want to route you through all the places where you can spend as much money as possible.
Oh, yeah.
All the restaurants, shops, slot machines, tables, whatever. But I found the hack. I went right in there and didn't even have to touch a casino. Like, I could leave my condo, hit the monorail, get to the conference center. I could do a bunch of navigating without even fucking walking through a casino.
Oh, that's
It's wonderful. That was some fucking black belt level Vegas shit right there.
Yeah. Not your first time there.
No, not my first time there.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
That was a win. That was another win from Vegas.
Yeah, that place will fucking it's so big. It's crazy.
It fucks me up, dude. All the noise and people and yeah, dude, it's bananas. When you just take a minute and look around, like it doesn't make sense.
No.
It does not make sense.
No, the scale of it is just
Fucking
cartoonish.
Cartoonish. And the behavior of all the people you're watching, just walking around, like you see just, people, like I saw this lady that looked like my mom, like a little bit older lady, dressed nice, looked nice, fucked up. Like she was sitting down like on this curb type thing, hanging, like had her arm looped through the rail.
Yeah.
And doing the nod.
Yeah.
And, like her arm on the rail was what's saving her, just her head from hitting the concrete. And this was like 60-year-old lady. I'm like, what is going on here?
Dude, I know. I wonder, man. I see people that are just running around with those yard-long margaritas, and I'm like, dude, it's going to hit you faster than you think, man. But dude, somehow people do it.
They do.
And then you see the people that don't.
Yeah, people that don't make it.
When it goes wrong quickly. Yeah. I know. Dude, those places are always such a interesting
I like
statement.
people watching there.
Yeah.
It's definitely entertaining. Dude, I can just sit there and chill and just fucking watch the masses of people walking by doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's definitely entertaining.
It is entertaining, man. The public is entertaining, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
definitely not my scene. I just like the people watching be judgmental.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
Makes me feel better about myself.
I was, yeah, that's exactly it. It makes me feel slightly better about myself. But then I feel worse about myself. It's like, God, I'm being such a judgmental asshole. Like, this isn't good either.
It's not good either.
No. But anyways, another good win from Vegas was, so I plowed through 2 books, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've been, trying to read more this year. And I found, like, and this probably goes without saying, this is things Captain Obvious kind of shit, but like, man, if it's a book that is like kind of teaching me something and I'm interested in it, dude, I can plow through that fucking thing like fast. Like my reading muscles are getting pretty good. Like, cause I went through 2 books this week, no problem. They were both like 250, 300 page books, and just fucking flew through them. The first one was Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron.
Okay.
He's a high level CrossFit coach. He runs like CrossFit New England, and he was coach to Matt Frazier, Katrin Davis' daughter, and Cole Sager. They're like the 3 super high level CrossFit athletes he's coached. I mean, amongst others. Mm-hmm. But he's huge on mindset. Like that's, he knows how to train athletes to do athlete shit. But he's really big on mindset. Fucking good book, dude.
So yeah.
Maybe that's kind of what got me going in that direction, talking about, not even fucking worrying about outcomes or shit you can't control. He was talking about in that book, leading up, because that Katrin Davis daughter that he coached, she won the games like 2 years in a row, like 2015, 2016, and he was coaching her the whole time. Him and her never once sat down and talked about winning the games. Never. It was never a fucking conversation. Everything was today. What are we doing to maximize every fucking minute of today? Every minute of training. That's it. What do you suck at? You suck at rope climbs? Oh, guess what? We're rope climbing like a motherfucker. Oh, you got better at that today? Cool. Oh, you didn't? Okay, we'll fix it tomorrow. It was all just about the moment. Like, what decision did you make? Oh, did you eat this? No, you should have ate this. There was no result, because all you can do is, you can't focus on the result.
Yeah.
Like a lot of shit like that. I mean, that's what the whole book was about, is just, different mindset and process.
Not
type.
the outcome.
Exactly. It was good, dude. It was, like, I ate it up. I was like, it's all shit I've read before, but man, I like that shit.
Yeah, some people would just have a interesting way of putting things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was really easy read.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to be some fucking super intellect.
Yeah.
Just
put it in a context that you can understand.
He's kind of like, I get the impression he's kind of like the John Danaher of the CrossFit world.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
A little philosophical.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So it's really good. So I ate that one up, and then I read Living with the Monks.
Okay.
Jesse Itzler, I think is his last name. He wrote Living with a SEAL, was his first book. He's the one, David Goggins, the crazy Navy SEAL. He did the ultramarathoners that was on Joe Rogan and stuff. Well, for this Jesse Itzler, or whatever his name is, his first book, he invited David Goggins to come live with him for like 30 days and just fucking treat him like a SEAL. And he wrote a book about it.
Yeah, I've heard the book.
So his next one was Living with the Monks. He went up to upstate New York? Yeah, I think it was New York. And he went and lived with the Catholic monks that breed the German Shepherds.
Okay.
They're pretty famous for. I think the name of the monastery is like the New Skeet Monastery. Mm-hmm. They're super famous for German Shepherds. They've written books on how to train dogs, and that's just what they do. So he went and lived with them for a few weeks and wrote a book about it. It's pretty good. It was in it, like, That guy's style writing, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But, there's some good life lessons. That's what the book was. Like, I picked this up from living with these crazy fucking monks. Because this dude is like an uber successful business guy.
Yeah.
Like living in New York, just that crazy fast-paced life. He's married to the chick who invented Spanx. Spanx, I don't know. The super fucking rich, I don't know. It's like an undergarment that chicks wear that don't want to work out, that squish them down.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Made
a fucking $1 billion doing that.
So, yeah. Unfortunately, much like a duvet, I know what you mean.
Yes.
So, my consumerism is showing.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Yeah.
But, and he's done a bunch of shit, like, made and sold companies, and, like, super successful business guy. So, for him to, like, unplug and go live with the monks, it definitely wasn't. He said that, doing the SEAL shit was tough physically. He's like, this was
a little more up his alley, though.
He's like, this was way tough. He's like, this was fucking brutal.
It's like the opposite.
The opposite, like slowing his mind down and stuff. So that was a good read, too.
Huh. That's funny, man. Yeah, you every once in a while you realize that, dude, there's people out there that, like, you really, truly, honestly can't wrap their mind around slowing the fuck down and unplugging. And it's just really weird. Like, they get anxiety over it. And yeah, so it's fucking not good. So what was any good lessons?
Nothing I haven't really talked about before.
It's all right. You can't tease us and say I read 2 good books and then be like, I'm not going to give you.
I think that the biggest takeaway from the Chasing Excellence, the Ben Bergeron book, was that not worrying about your shit you can't control.
Right. Yeah.
Especially that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Is like, don't fucking spend 1 second thinking about it. Like, you can spend the 1 second thinking about it. Like, can I control this or not? Like the weather. Like, say you compete in something that's outside.
Yeah.
Weather's shitty. Guess what? Fucking deal with it. That's as long as you should think about it and fucking roll on.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's it. Like, so he had a whole chapter about that. There was a lot of good chapters in there. That was the biggest one. And then from that, living with the monks, there's a lot of good lessons in that. Just being in the moment. Like, if you're doing monotasking, let's put it that way.
Monotasking.
Instead of trying to fucking multitask, fucking monotask. Like, when you're doing something, just fucking do that.
Right.
Just do that. And it's super. And so I thought about my own life. Like, I'm fairly good at doing that. Like, say I'm at home cleaning or doing the dishes or whatever.
Yeah.
Being that I don't have social media on my phone, and I'm not tempted to run back, and if I get bored, fucking sweeping, go back, check my phone. Like, I'm pretty good at it. I've done that before. I've gone down that route, and I'm sure a lot of other people have also. But like, if you just, because that's what he noticed, because the sanctuary, he said, was kept up super nice. Everything was beautiful, clean, and in order.
Yeah.
He's like, because when the monks are doing the dishes, guess what? They're doing the fucking dishes.
Yeah.
They're not worried about what's next or how many more to do. Like, when they're scrubbing that one pan, it's that one fucking pan.
Right.
And that is it. And he's like, so if you take that and put that into your life, just monotask, quit multitasking.
Yeah.
So I liked it when he put it like that. It's like that.
Yeah. And we
you'd be more productive. You
right.
would get more done.
Yeah.
If you just laser focus on one thing instead of trying to do 5 things half-ass, just do one fucking thing.
Right. Or just even be more, like, present. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about that today a little bit because, like, the challenge isn't even, like, when you're washing the dishes to be washing the dishes. The thing is to be thinking about nothing else than, like, that moment. Like, the feeling of the water, the feeling of, the soap. And, like, it's not thinking about what happened earlier today. It's not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. And it's because what happened earlier and what happened the future, like, they're just stories you tell yourself. And I was thinking about that. I was like, it's so funny, man. I look around at, like, all this really cool, wonderful stuff. And then I tell myself some sort of story about the present or the past that makes me sad. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But that's what we do, and by sad I mean things that worry you, right? Like, a lot of times what we end up thinking about, these stories of the past are usually like things that you fucked up or things that
you said,
or I wonder what this meant. So, or in the stories of the future, same thing. They're like, oh man, I wonder about this. Oh, I'm worried about that. So there's these stories that we tell ourselves that make us sad, and it's like, why am I looking at this fucking tree right now, and I'm not just focused on like how the shadows are playing on the trunk, and you know I can see the cloud, you know, like, and how the air feels against my skin right now, and just all of these, just like, oh my God, there's so much crazy shit going on right now. Like, I can't even pay attention to everything that's happening just in this moment, and yet I'm looking at that, worrying about, you know, oh man, I got to send this email out tomorrow, you know? It's like, fuck. So it's not even like that monotasking thing. Like, it's not even just doing one task. You know, it's being so focused on that one task that there's nothing else in the world but that moment and that task. And that's where the challenge lies. And, you know, because you can't live there all the time. Like, you
have to plan.
You do need to plan, right? Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, there's the yin and the yang. And the problem is, for so many of us, we spend so much time in the planning and the thinking of the future and the past and all of these things. So even when we're, you know, washing the dishes, we're still not thinking about the dishes. And and so yeah, the need for that is really important, but also realizing that the hurdle for it's not just not listening to music while you're washing the dishes, or not having the TV on while you're washing the dishes, or not, you know, running, like you're saying, like being worried about social media and running back and forth between dishes. Like, these are kind of these obvious things, but it's like there's nothing else but the dish.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's what you're looking for. And that's what, like, you know, we talk about this all the time. Like, that's why we love jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu forces you into those moments. Like, there is nothing else but this moment. Because if there's anything else, like, you're fucked.
You're getting fucked up.
You're fucked. And so it's like, you know, you get to touch that in jiu-jitsu, and I think that's why we love it so much. But it's being able to bring that state of mind to other parts of your life. I mean, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So, you know, focusing on trying to bring those elements in. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, 'cause literally I was thinking about that today. I'm like, why do I look at all this cool shit and then tell myself sad stories about and then worry about that?
You don't appreciate it, or
Yeah. I'm worried about the future or the past, and then the stories I'm telling myself are rarely like fucking super happy ones. Or I'm wondering, like, you know, I'm trying to change my mindset. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not thinking about this right. How do I think about this to where I'm happy about it? And then I'm like, well, that's the fucking problem.
I'm forcing myself.
I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to think of another illusion. But it's funny. I got Shiloh reading Dune.
Dune? The old, like,
yeah,
Dune
with Paul Muad'Dib. And yeah, she's struggling a little bit, but I'm gonna make her read it. It's good, man. It's good. It's good to struggle through books. We talked about it. It teaches you stuff, just struggling through it. But I forgot that in the book they have these quotes. The quotes of Paul Muad'Dib by Princess whatever, and Shiloh doesn't know who that is yet, so we're not going to spoil it for her. But it's hilarious, man. One of the quotes, I picked it up, and the one I came across, it said something about like, greatness is a transitory experience because it's an illusion. Like, to experience greatness, you must first buy into the myth that you're in, right? Like, there is no greatness unless you're comparing it against something, right? Like, you know, someone who wins a jiu-jitsu tournament, we think he's great. Someone who has no idea what jiu-jitsu is doesn't give a fuck. So for that guy to experience greatness means that he has to buy into the myths surrounding him at that moment. And he has to reflect back what's being reflected on him. But to do that, though, you have, and the quote was like, but he also has to retain a sense of the sardonic. And I had to look that up. It means a grim sense of irony. Because
sardonic, grim sense of irony.
Yes,
I like that.
Yeah, he's like, because that's the only way that he can move within himself. Otherwise, even occasional brushes with greatness can destroy a man. I was like, dude, that is so fucking deep, man. That is so good.
It make you think for a while.
So good, but it's like, wow, like, yeah, like, there's so much. It's all just, you got to be happy or sad about a situation on some levels, you got to buy into the myths surrounding the situation. And it's like, and then you gotta fucking remember it's just a myth and it's a grim irony, or you go fucking nuts and you get sucked up into it, and it's just, yeah. So anyways, I thought it was kind of an ironic quote for everybody being at Masters Worlds and just the whole, just keeping it in perspective, right? Like that was the point, right? Like, it's not that it doesn't matter. Because I was thinking about it later. I was actually talking with Shiloh. It's funny that it's not, the moments matter. Like, I think that there are things that aren't myths, right? It's not that everything's a myth. The moments aren't a myth. Like, what you experience in that moment is real. Like, when you win, when you lose, like, you know, that is real. It's the story you tell yourself surrounding that moment that becomes the myth. Mm-hmm. So you want to experience the moments, man. The moments are what we're here for. Like, that's what we want to fucking experience. We just have, like, whether it's love, you know, being hurt, like all of these emotions, man, all of these moments, like, the thing is, though, is you can't build myths around these moments and then fucking buy into them. You always have to remember that, like, oh, I'm getting angry because I'm looking at it this way, and, you know, that's just a fucking myth, and I can't buy into this fucking myth. Like, why am I looking at it this way? Like, it's where the grim irony comes in, you know? And yeah, that's the only way you can keep from getting stagnant. Your ideas from starting to fucking own you, kind of thing. So anyways, there you go. Sardonic.
Sardonic. It's a good word.
It is a good word, man. I liked it. I was like, I don't really know what that means. I gotta look that one up.
I like when I see one like that. And then you look it up and it is a good meaning. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Why didn't I know this word?
Yeah, I like that. Because it's not just irony. Irony is good, but a grim sense of irony. Like
grim sense of irony.
Yeah, that's more Grumpy Guy.
I like it.
Style. You gotta have that. Because, you know, it's like, fuck, man. You catch a higher belt and submission or do something good, and it's like, dude, if you for a minute believe that means shit, you're screwed. Yeah, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's okay, good for you. Like, back to the fucking drawing board.
Right,
like,
yep.
If you walk away thinking you're great, like, dude, that's
the universe will tell you differently.
Yeah, the universe will tell you differently, man.
Very soon.
That moment was awesome. You, like, take from that moment.
That moment's over. Learn from it.
Don't construct the fucking myths around it.
No, yeah, exactly.
So, anyways.
Don't construct a good or bad myth around it.
Yeah. You know, or just realize it is what it is.
It is what
it's not, you can't help it. The human mind wants to make those connections, and not all myths are bad, right? It's just understanding they are what they are, and realizing whether you're being controlled by them or whether you're controlling them. Because myths are basically, it's just kind of a shorthand way to think. It's just, you know, and we need that. Like I said, it's not always bad. It's just when it starts to go to an extreme where things start to get off track. And so again, that's where you look at your results, right? Like, the results from how you were approaching competition weren't great. You know, you were stressed out. It wasn't fun. Because, man, I talked to you your last 3 competitions. You were like, fuck this shit. I remember that one you came back from Denver. You were wondering if you'd ever compete again, I think. When you were, like, trying to lose weight and it was just miserable. And then you got mollywopped and it's just like, Jesus, man. You know, so, but you recognizing that, continuing to work on that, like, okay, now, you know, got a different myth or story that it's, the reality is better. So you're controlling your myths. You're not letting them control you. And you're trying to figure out, now, how do I manipulate these things? But you have to, man, because the brain can't just walk through being like, oh, blue, oh, brown, you know, red. What is brown? You know, it's like, no, that's a ball. Well, you know what I mean? In some ways, that's a story we tell ourselves. That's what we call it, you know, blah, blah, blah. These are just words that were made up. But I need that shorthand to get through my life. But when it fucking defines your life,
that's when you get in trouble.
That's when you get in trouble, man.
And if you don't spend, and then it's kind of deep and philosophical here, like the philosophy hour with James, but it makes sense though. And man, a lot of people don't. I was thinking, you bring it up, like, I was thinking about this when I was sitting around with people watching me judgmental in Vegas. Like, because I see, you know, so many people, like, just getting drunk, and like, I feel like that kills consciousness. Like, you know, like, being drunk is not, drinking is not a consciousness enlightening drug.
No.
Like an edible or mushrooms or something. Like, it's squashing it. And so I was thinking, you know, like, man, Unless you're involved with something really tough, like jiu-jitsu, like you don't get those myths brought front and center to you. And if you don't, most people don't spend time thinking about that shit.
No.
Yeah, they don't.
They spend time trying not to think about that shit.
You know, and that's why they're just always plugged into their phone or what's on TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck it is. They're trying to escape what is going on inside their head in their reality. And that's I think happens for the majority of fucking people, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm goddamn enlightened and I got to figure it out.
No.
You know, but I was thinking about this. I was on the monorail one day and there was this young girl, I would have to speculate she was probably like early to mid 20s. And not to be rude, but I think she's a little off. You know, like her elevator didn't, I don't know how to put this PC. Like she wasn't quite retarded, but elevator wasn't reaching the top floor.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like you could just tell, like just by looking at her, you know, I don't know what it was. Like something like eyes are too close to, like something was a little off.
Right.
And I'm not being mean, but is what brought my attention to her is that it looked like she was there with her mom, and she was so fucking happy. She was riding the monorail and just looking out at like, Mom, look at this. Oh, there's this hotel. And apparently, you know, she was the first time she'd been to Vegas or something. And man, she was just fucking smiling from ear to fucking ear, dude. Pointing out, just yelling at the top of her lungs, pointing out, oh, there's McDonald's. Oh, there's, you know, like happy as fuck about just seeing all these hotels. And dude, it made me happy. I was like, huh. I was like, good for her, man. She is digging the shit out of this, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, probably from some small town, like never been to Vegas. And she was 100% in that fucking moment. You know, I was like, oh, man, that's pretty cool.
Appreciating
You
Vegas.
know, the rest of us are on the monorail like, man, when's the next fucking stop coming?
Yeah.
I gotta get off. I gotta go do this. I gotta do... Oh, no, man. She was just fucking looking out the window, fucking loving every second of everything she passed. Look at this. Look at, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, that was cool.
Nice.
You know, so...
Yeah. It's funny, man. Moments like that remind you, like, oh, yeah, how to become so cynical.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought about. Like, I saw her... And then I like kind of reviewed what I was doing. I was like, huh, I'm being a fucking asshole right now. Like she's happy as a pig in shit right now. You know, and I was like, huh. It did. It made you think a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Like, why don't I look around a little bit more? Instead, I'm sitting here looking at her.
Inspire you in, man.
Yeah.
Or inspire you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think either one of us claim enlightenment, but I think the one thing that we will say is we recognize that we need it. Like that, just even that right now there, and so it's like, dude, we're trying, but that right there is so hard for most people to admit. Like yeah, I need a better way of looking at reality. What do you mean it's not someone else's fault? You know, like that's the fallback for most people. It's not them, so you gotta. But you know, we said it last time. I think grappling's like a hard case of LSD reality check thing for most people, and that's why it's hard for most people and why it fucks people's day up. Like most people don't stick with it because you think you got things figured out, and then you realize like, oh, wait a minute,
you don't have it figured
out. Don't got nothing figured. Like the whole world is just upside down, and yeah, not everyone can deal with it. So, but we try.
That's all we can do.
On a daily basis.
Just keep stepping on the mat.
Just keep going, man.
That's
I know.
That's all it is, man. Just show the fuck up.
Yeah. So I will say I realize there's a downfall to having a podcast that a lot of people at our gym listen to, and then me publicly declaring my intentions for what I'm trying to work on the podcast, because everyone's like, I ain't letting you fucking do that. So
it's good. It just makes you.
No, it is. But I mentioned I was talking about the dawn on her back, the straight jacket video, and dude, I swear to God, everyone's like, oh, you're trying to get to my back? No way. And it's like, God damn it. Now I gotta work even harder, so that's fine. It is good. I'm not complaining. It was just funny that I forget sometimes, you know, because I mean, honestly, a lot of this, like, I have fun with the podcast. Obviously, you know, we talk. We're trying to talk to other people with this, but like, I'm just talking to you.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, like, I forget half the time.
Most of the time,
yeah, other people are listening to this.
A lot of times, dude, when we're in here talking, I forget that we're recording.
Yeah. It's so. But it was just interesting. But the system's good. I mean, I did pick on a few white belts and get to their back, which is why God created white belts. And Yeah, man. It's interesting. There's a lot going on. I realize there's so much going on with controlling the back and attacking from the back that I didn't even know, man. I'm like, fuck. I'm like a purple belt and I've got kindergartner level back skills. Like, in all honesty, like now that I see like all the fights,
where the fights are
the
at,
head trap fights, the grip fights, the freaking hooks, and there's all
the hip, the shoulder,
all the fights, and like how, where you want to be and where they want to be, and how you need to get yourself in the positions and then advance that position, and the whole goal is to get that uncontested choke where it's just your hand against their chin, which becomes a losing proposition at that point. And so it's been very interesting, man. Like I get on there and all of a sudden my brain just explodes and I'm just like, so I'm really looking forward to getting some things cinched down, but I'm already, I will say, I think that the jiu-jitsu world has based a lot of its back stuff, and especially the defense, on gi chokes. And I think that it...
I disagree. I'll let you finish. I'll finish. Before I disagree 100%, finish.
So I will... the two things in particular, with the gi choke, the just straight up like not shooting your arm across to the other shoulder, like getting you need to get your elbow on the choking arm over their shoulder. And so it's not that you can't do that with the gi chokes, but there's a tendency to, push the gi across, whatever, grab the gi, so you're not reaching as deep as you would for a rear naked. If we were just teaching, like, go for a fucking, you say it all the time, right? Like, you say it. So this is the funny thing. I'm interested to hear how you're gonna contradict yourself and your instructions to people, which is like, don't sell yourself short. Don't just reach for the collar. Don't reach shallow. Like, go across. And so that kind of forms a bad habit. And what I found, the bad habit that I formed from that, is that I don't get my elbow on that attacking arm over their shoulder to pinch and control their shoulder. I have a tendency to leave it on top of or behind their shoulder, because with a gi choke, their defense is to grab my elbow. They need to keep my elbow from getting behind their shoulder and fish that elbow out. So it's a little bit different fight, me trying to set up and defend and keep a gi choke from being defended versus like a rear naked. And then there's also the idea of the strong versus weak side to fall to, that it's not true. It only counts for gi chokes. Like with a gi choke, you have to fall to your attacking arm, because as you start to pull on their collar, the only thing that's going to keep them from rotating around into you is getting a wedge behind their shoulder. Right? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So whether that wedge is the floor or your knee or whatever, you have to form a wedge behind their shoulder so that when you start to pull and finish the choke, they don't follow. They're stuck, and so you're choking them out. And so you have to fall that way. That's why it's almost, I'm not going to say impossible, it is extremely, extremely hard to finish a gi choke if your grip is over the top and not on the bottom of their head. That's not a rear naked at all. Like, I've gotten myself in trouble, like thinking I'm safe because I've fallen to the weak side, my safe side, and all of a sudden I got Rob fucking rear naked choking the shit out of me, thinking like, well, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be safe. Like, what happened, right? And so, and again, it's not even that it's weak. Like, that's why I'm really interested. Like, the Danaher system, he wants that arm up, and he has a very good rationale for why he wants the attacking arm to be on the top and the control arm to be on the bottom. But what the difference is like, it's the circle around their head. And so, if you fall away from the attacking arm, the potential, there is no circle this way. Like, you're gonna, the other way, there's a potential for an opening in that circle. So you're able to get your head, the whole game is they have to keep your head between their attacking arm and their head. If they have your head sandwiched between their head and attacking arm, a choke is possible. So you've got to get your head on the other side of their head or arm. You've got to break that triangle. And so coming over this way breaks that. If I get my head to the floor, well, now I have my head on the other side of your head and I've broken that alignment. And so that allows me to get out. But if you've got it cupped and you've got that circle closed, so their head can't get to the floor anyways, like, it doesn't matter. It's not that it's safe if they've got the circle closed up, you know, and that's where, like, shooting the arm across, getting it cupped and you know, comes in. Now, if you fall to that quote-unquote weak side, I still have control. I've got the circle closed, whereas if I just shot across for a gi choke and I don't have that connection, it's a lot easier for them to shove their head into that space. And so if you're looking at things from a gi choke perspective, there is a strong side and a weak side. If you're looking at it from a rear naked choke perspective, there isn't a strong side and a weak side, and that by not emphasizing the rear naked choke right off the bat with people can teach some interesting habits for where their elbow is going to control the upper body. So again, I'm not saying you can't grab the gi and get that elbow over and control. Like, I should have done that, but I think that, like, going across and reaching across and getting in that habit of going as deep as you can right off the bat encourages that elbow coming over. So anyways, that's my thought.
I mean, you went on for a while there. No, you're not. Like, you're not wrong in everything you said. You're just putting what gets taught. John Danaher's just like, he's kind of going the fucking Eddie Bravo route. It just re-explaining shit the way that it's already been explained.
Well, no.
So because
he's not saying to do anything different.
Well, but you started out that whole rant with, you think traditional, like, quote unquote traditional jiu-jitsu. You didn't use the word traditional, but whatever you said,
gi-based
jiu-jitsu,
gi-based chokes.
You started that whole thing out with saying, like, the back control gets taught all wrong. Well,
you put words in my mouth. I said that we're doing a disservice to people.
Well, okay, so
I'm not saying it's all wrong.
So let me interject here. So you're assigning, like, this big importance to, like, so when you teach somebody to escape the back, you got to give them, like, if someone's never done jiu-jitsu and they don't wrestle, like, you got to give them something, and so it falls in. It's like one of those, like, a strong side and weak side, you know, towards the choking arm, away from the choking arm, however you want to fucking word it. You got to give them something, and it's one of those jiu-jitsu rules that you shouldn't break until you fully fucking understand it. Like, at the level, the rabbit hole you're going down is where you're starting to understand it. That's when you can't break it until you fucking understand it. And when someone's first learning it, you got to tell them, hey, that person is a piece of gum on the bottom of your shoe. Use the ground to scrape the gum off your shoe. It's the easiest way to explain it. So that leads to what's happening on the back. You know, so it's not a strong side and weak side. Because it all depends. Like, strong and weak is a matter of perception. Like, it depends on what technique you're going for. Like, if I have this grip and he falls this way, that's not my strong grip for this technique. But for this technique, that's my strong grip or strong side.
Right.
So there's that. 2, I've been preaching since I was teaching people at fucking Blue Belt, always go for the rear naked choke first. Because going for the collar grip first teaches bad fucking habits. Yeah. I've been preaching that since fucking goddamn... I've been on Marcelo Garcia's nuts since I was a fucking blue belt, watching all his matches and instructionals, man. You know, I still remember, like, I remember watching an interview or something with him, and my first coach was big on it. Like, fucking Marcelo would go win Abu Dhabi's, and he would train in the gi, and that's a no-gi tournament. He would train in the gi all the way up until, like, 2 weeks before. All his training was in the gi. Yeah. And because he was fully aware of those fucking principles. And you always, like, because if you go to the back and go automatically for a gi grip, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not controlling the situation. You need to be going for the rear naked, because there's no tough guy for a rear naked choke. Yeah. There's less holes to get out, less ways to escape a rear naked choke. If you get your hand up to that trap or that other shoulder, not like your trapezius, and when I say not like a trap, but that trap muscle, you get it that deep, like, good luck. You know, getting out, like, and that should be your focus all the fucking time. seatbelt, and then if you have, if there's a scramble and you got to get seatbelt for a minute to fucking ride the wave, and then boom, shoot that arm up as deep as you can. Yeah, I've been teaching that since I can.
No, I remember. Even
because I get pissed when I see people do that. Like they automatically go right to a lapel. Like
yeah,
it's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
But if you want maximum effectiveness and maximum good back control on a game that transfers from gi to no gi, no problem.
Yeah,
like that needs to be your first go-to, man.
Yeah, I would say it's more for me on a defensive side. I don't, because like I said, I think explaining to people that there's a weak side and that they're safe falling to this side is where the disservice is being placed, because they're not safe and it's not weak, and that they need to understand that the fight is like, until they get their head on the ground, until they get that separation, they between the attacking arm and the head, that they're still available. Like the rear naked choke is still going to fuck them up.
See, I agree with what you're saying, but that's too deep of an explanation for someone that's got zero fucking experience. If you want to assign a different word besides weak, if that makes you feel better in a coaching standpoint, have at it.
I call it like the open side.
If that makes you feel better, but it's still the same fucking thing. You just got to get them to do what you want to
the
fucking
words
do.
have meaning, man. Like, as a Jordan Peterson fan, like, you cannot argue that words have meaning, right? And so the words that you put out there are a reflection of the reality that you're trying to project. And so open versus weak, like, in all honesty, if you got someone who knows nothing about jiu-jitsu, and you tell someone that falling to this side is their weak side, versus you tell someone that that's the open side, it's different. Like, it has a different impact on their mind, right? Like, I literally had to train myself to think different words in my head, because I thought weak side, safe side, and I would get there. And my mind.
But you assign the word safe, and if someone's just saying weak and
well,
safe.
if they're weak on that side, okay. But I've heard people also say, like, you're safe on this side. You want to get to this side because you're safe over there. They can't, finish the choke over there. But the only reason that is because it's a gi based. We're only talking about defending gi chokes. As soon as you throw the rear naked in, as a central part of the system, then it changes that conversation. And that's what I'm saying, is that by basing the terms that we're using almost exclusively on gi-based choke systems, that we're doing people a disservice, because they're not recognizing the rear naked choke. Man, I'd say all the time, like, the rear naked is its own animal. Like, this is how you defend gi chokes, but you better be on, like, the rear naked will get you at any point. You have to be on guard for that thing at all times. And so anyways, like, that's just the reason I'm saying that is because I've had to go through that myself, with not being as accessible to the rear naked from you and Randy the Shocker Crusher, like, because both you guys make me pay for just defending the lapel. Like, I just trying to defend you going for the lapel, and next thing I know, you're fucking all the way across, and it's like, man, I got to be defending that the whole time, or but it is, you know what I mean? Like, and if I'm defending the rear naked and you go for a lapel, like, I'm still in a decent position. But if I defend the lapel and you go for the rear naked, dude, I can be really fucked. So anyways, it was just an observation, is that we tend to base our, for new people, it tends to be based on the gi system without the rear naked necessarily being taken into account. So
part of me agrees with you, but part of me doesn't agree with you. Like, I see what you're saying. You gotta defend your fucking neck. You gotta defend your fucking neck. It's common sense, man. The arm is threatening your neck. Keep the arm away from your goddamn neck.
Right.
Like, I'm inclined to, so you get caught in rear naked chokes, and you're thinking to yourself, these motherfuckers have been using the wrong words to tell me how to get out of here. That's why I'm getting caught. It's not the lack of my technique or my understanding. It's the lack that they've been telling me the wrong words. They didn't use the word open. They used the word weak, and I just couldn't keep the forearm off my neck.
But it did shape my reality, like how I see jiu-jitsu. Like I see jiu-jitsu, especially like now that I kind of have like with, seeing Danaher like break down a lot of the control points, like I see it differently now, and I understand like like there's the fight, but anyways,
I think it makes sense. I totally understand why his stuff makes so much sense to you, because you're a very analytical dude. He's a very analytical guy, and you're getting to that point in your jiu-jitsu path. You're learning some shit, but you're still growing. Like, what's got you to this point isn't getting you to the next point. And so you're growing. You're going through a little so you're searching. You're out there fucking searching. And like I say, I see why you like his shit. It clicks to you. The words he uses, the philosophy he uses, you're like, oh.
Well, very well, he thinks,
Yeah, to you it really makes sense. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I get it. I see why, I see why you're riding this fucking nuts. I totally do.
I wouldn't go so far as that.
Oh yeah, you're riding the John Danaher dick train hard.
It's all right, buddy.
There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I mean, he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you finding a coach that's putting things into terms that really make sense to you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because another part that makes me chuckle when you're saying all this shit to me, because there's a lot of like details and stuff you've talked about that I've like yelled at you or yelled at several people across the map, but just in different words. Or I know Kevin has. I know we've told you the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
But we didn't use the fucking Socrates version of it, so it didn't click.
I didn't know how it all fit into the whole. Like that's me. Like once I understand, that's why like I like the system, because like once I understand like how he looks at it, then it's like, oh, so now I understand. And so. Yeah.
Yeah, knowing you as well as I do, and all these conversations I have, it totally makes sense why you're riding his dick. It makes sense. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. You're learning from it, dude. And because you being on the Danaher fucking leg lock train, dick riding train for a long time has made me really good at defending leg locks. So I'm good with it, man. Like I fucking go down, because we don't have anybody that attacks it. Like I attack the back.
Yeah.
In our gym, like
you attack the back. Randy likes to
Randy,
get there.
Randy. Me and Randy probably attack the back more than anybody at our gym.
Yeah.
Kevin likes mount, or he'll just kill us from anywhere.
Wherever.
But like he'll go to the back, but it's not like he doesn't force as much as I do.
Yeah.
Randy does. So yeah, dude, I'm game. Like if I want somebody else in the gym to start fucking going after my back all the time, it's gonna just sharpen my game.
Yeah.
So,
I know that's the thing I got to work on getting there now.
Yeah, you got to find different routes
and then
there.
Controlling in the transition and stuff like that. So it's definitely a whole game. But dude, it's funny. Like I knew that I had, like, I look at most of I know I got holes, but that fuck my back shit is embarrassing now that I realize like how little I really understood. So
yeah, you got to drill routes there now.
Drill routes there, and then like getting there, like I said, like my mount, I over relied on my mount. Like I either wouldn't let people turn to give me their back when they wanted. It's like, no, you just sit there, dude. Or if I was on their back and they started to get off,
you were happy to go to
mount.
It's
just so easy to go to mount that it's like, okay, now I'm back where I'm comfortable. And so I just got, lazy with it. And so, I'm excited.
And what's good about that is like you can save a lot of your computing power and decision-making points for like this back control rabbit hole you're going down. And you can get pretty primitive with like the back takes and the back retention for now. Like, be down and dirty and nitty gritty with that. Like all I gotta do is get to the fucking back. Let's not get all scientific with that shit.
Yeah.
Get scientific with
get there.
Get there.
Yeah.
And then work on the control. And
That's totally it.
And then you'll refine the getting there. Then you can nerd out on getting there.
Yep.
Because that just starts spiraling out the whole game.
Oh, for sure. And it's fun. I will say the couple times I've gotten in the back, I feel like my back game's gotten it get worse right off the bat, right? Because like I'm not going to my I'm on the back, like my usual control things. Like I'm actually thinking about it, and it's like
that's the second to 10.
Yeah. So there's I will say that there's a little bit of a dip. It's fun if I can retain, I can get caught back up, but there is that little bit of a dip where I'm like, okay, like it's getting to the back, and now I got to work on like getting there and in the transition, setting up good control points, because that's not a habit of mine. And if I just revert to my habit of setting up my usual control points, I'm like, I'm behind the fucking game already. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes.
This weekend, you start wrestling on my back.
Yeah.
Instead of playing.
Oh, shit, dude.
That's the only way to fucking work it. Just start there.
All right.
Worst case scenario, I got to tap and start over.
I know, man.
That's all there is to it.
And then no more of that for me. So.
No, that's fine. It's good for me. It's good practice.
Yeah, it is. So, anyways, there's my thoughts, which you don't totally disagree with, but
no, you make, like I said, you make points in there.
I get your.
A lot of the shit you're saying is stuff that's been taught to you. I know, because I've been with you for most of your jiu-jitsu path.
Yeah.
And it's all, but it just hasn't. Again, like you're growing, like you're getting out of your jiu-jitsu adolescence and getting into like semi-adulthood.
Yeah.
And so you're learning and growing.
Oh no, I know a lot of these seeds have been planted. Like this isn't like new.
No, but it's. I mean, that happens with jiu-jitsu, man. Like, there's techniques that, you learned on day one that you'll revisit 3 years from now, into your jiu-jitsu path, and you're like, oh, you see it a different way.
Yeah.
Oh, you see it like a bump sweep or a scissor sweep or whatever, like something very basic that 10 years in, you're like, oh, check out this little detail.
This little detail.
Yeah, so it's all part of the path.
Yeah. I think it's probably like he's just, Donner's very detail-oriented, so I like to geek out on that shit. So yes, I'm on the Danaher dick train.
You're on the dick ride Danaher train.
Fucking yeah. It's all right. Let's see where it takes me. I haven't even gotten the leg lock one, so we'll see though. But it's very heel hook based. I'll have to get my no-gi game going or whatever. So
anyhow,
you got
any notes? We talked about all my notes.
No, that was all I had. I was just wanting to hear what happened in Vegas, and
it was a good time, man.
Had some thoughts on
good lessons. It was fun. Wasn't as nervous. I hung out with all our chicks the whole weekend for the most part.
Yeah,
I was the tag along.
That's what I heard, man.
With the 4 fucking maniacs.
Yeah, you're either a player or gay.
Something.
People trying to figure out. Why is this guy hanging out with all these hot chicks?
Hanging out with all these good-looking women.
Yeah.
He must be gay.
That's so funny, man. Like, my first thought is like player, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting checked out by dudes. I'm like, great. Why is your gaydar going off here, man?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of gay dudes checking me out, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I was feeling self-conscious.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh.
It's Vegas.
Place
is weird.
It's weird.
It's fucking really weird.
So hopefully I can get there next year.
You gotta go next year.
Yeah. I missed that.
We could stick all the fucking girls in one car.
Yeah. Dude,
we could have a fucking...
If my dog had not ripped his paw open, I was ready to just throw the kids in the car and show up like unannounced for Friday's match for Kiela.
That would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah, like I wanted to be there, but Doc had his paw fucked up, and I was like, man, I got to be here to change his dressing. So that was what stopped it. I was that close, man.
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
You thought about it?
Oh yeah, I was gonna go, and then I realized like, oh, I can't Aka. So yeah, I was bummed I couldn't be there for that. And then yeah, just family situation and shit, not being able to go and compete. But it's always next year. Apparently, I'm gonna need to get a competition belt though. Because if Kiela's belt...
Yeah, she got shut down. I was a little afraid. It wasn't even that bad.
Dude, mine's like...
Is yours pretty... all the white showing through? Starting
Quite a bit of it.
Yeah, so. I got a competition belt that literally, like, that's it. It gets used to competitions and gets hung back up, man. That way it stays... It's still stiff. It's still new. Like,
well, you get your first few belts, you don't really... my blue belt was getting pretty frayed up.
And if you're not going to IBJJF tournaments...
they don't give a fuck there.
It doesn't, any other tournaments, they don't care. Because it's irrelevant. I don't know why they care. It's fucking stupid.
I don't know. Disrespectful to the game.
Oh, God.
I don't know. It's all their belt vendors.
It's probably because they just so happen to have a whole table full of belts for sale right
here.
Right here.
IBJJF legal.
It's funny how that works.
It is funny, man.
Motherfuckers.
It's an industry.
It is.
Yeah, we keep going. It's
hey,
fun.
We love the sport, man.
Love the sport,
love
man.
the art, love the sport. It's a challenge. There's so much growing that happens. I mean, like those lessons I talked about, I learned. They are jiu-jitsu lessons, but man, they're fucking life lessons.
Yeah.
And you get so many life lessons compressed down into those moments. And competition is fucking nerve wracking, man. No matter how you look at it. I mean, think, what happened this weekend. All the money spent traveling and time off of work and everything. Like it's a big commitment.
Yeah.
I spent 5 minutes on the mat. I went home and I went back to the condo, did a ramping isometric workout
to round out
the day. I didn't really get a workout. I was like, I gotta do something. But yeah, all that traveling, dude. And I was in Vegas from Wednesday until today.
Yeah.
And
that was that
5 minutes, man.
That was that poor bastard I got in 16 seconds last year.
Yeah, that fucking happened. You see that happen a lot out there. You
I
watch
know.
all these matches, dude.
I did. I remember thinking that. I kind of felt bad. I was like, that dude came from Canada.
Came all the way from Canada. 16 seconds.
Yeah. It's like, fuck, man. But that's it. You put yourself on the mat. Put yourself out there. So, like the old Teddy Roosevelt quote about competitor.
The one in
the
the arena.
Spectator. Exactly.
Yeah, the one in the arena with blood and dirt.
That's right. Spectator can fuck off.
Yep.
So, that was me shouting at the match going, why aren't you guys not doing this? I know, I was telling the kids, I was like, why didn't Mom sit down and start attacking something? Then I had to catch myself with like, well, I'm also the one sitting here on the other side of a computer screen in my comfortable office, so like, I can't say anything, because it's like the old, always seems easy when you're sitting there spectating, but man, it's a different thing.
It is a different thing.
Different thing, so yeah, I need to be there. I'll be there next year.
It's tough, I know watching Angela, like she got pretty nervous before her match. You could just see like she was good in the warm up area. I mean, everybody was nervous. We were watching. You can see everybody's personality, but man, I was super proud of her because she was doing good warming up, leading it. But like as soon as we got to like the bullpen to where she checked in, you could just sense it. Like you could see it on her face. Like she was starting to like shit bricks. And I'm like, knock it off, But she's, it's not like. She could have fucking pussed out right there on the spot. She's not. She wouldn't. That's not her. That's not her mindset. But you could see like the nerves. That's fucking tough to deal with.
It is,
and it's all voluntary.
I know. You're paying money.
You're paying money to feel it. To feel like that. That's, it's tough, dude. So you see anybody that's willing to put themselves through that. Like, it's
nothing.
You learn about yourself when you can feel that uncomfortable, but you just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, well, I remember thinking that last year, man. Because last year, I had to go through the same thing. Like, you always do before competitions. Like, you gotta get yourself in a good headspace to set foot on the mat and not be totally freaked out about what the fuck's going on here. And I remember thinking that one of the things that made me feel better was watching all the black belts go the day before, and I was like, no one got booed.
No.
Like no matter what happened, everyone walked off the mat to someone shaking their hand, saying good job, and no one got booed. Like, and I don't know why, but I remember that just made me feel like, all right, like these guys are at the highest level possible. Like, I don't want to make too many assumptions and not downplay how we feel, but dude, imagine like someone like Pimenta, the pressure on that dude. I mean, he makes his whole reputation is off of that. Everybody's there expecting him to win. Like, to see Pimenta lose is like, it's almost like you got to like, wait a minute, did you just see the same thing I did? Because that doesn't compute. And so, like, for us, man, we're just trying to get the fuck out there. Again, it's a myth we're telling ourselves to make ourselves feel better. But yeah, man, like you talk about pressure, like some of those dudes are under like immense pressure.
The guys that are basically like professional level competitors. I mean, that's what they do.
There are a lot of.
But there's a good lesson right in that too, because Pimenta, he won like 3 matches or something, lost the 4th or somewhere along those lines, and so he didn't even get on the podium. And of course he's a little bummed out, but then I seen him the next day. He was there and just being himself. Like, hey man, it is what it is.
And if he would have won, he would have been the same way.
He would have been the same way.
Same way.
You couldn't tell whether he walked away with that gold medal or he lost fucking 3 rounds in, man.
Yep.
Like he was just hey.
And that's what makes him him.
And that that right there is like, oh, all right. Like I'm just a fucking nobody scrub weekend warrior.
Right.
And so if I was to lose and to walk around pouting, like, come on, man.
Exactly.
You can take your time, like, be upset, like, fuck, that sucked. I should have done this and that. That's part of it because you want to win. You're there. And I allowed myself that. Like, I lost and I went, basically like pouted. I just kind of went and walked, paced back and forth behind the bleachers for a few minutes, just to let myself cool down. I was like, all right, let's go eat acai bowl. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you give yourself that little bit of time to be angry, but then after that, you're just like, that's it.
Yeah,
It's
you
done.
see how those guys handle it. It's
Yeah,
like,
you see them handle it, and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. And you know, no one thinks less of them.
Right, well, that was what I meant. You know, like that was kind of my thing. Is like
The world doesn't think
no one
less of him.
booed Pimenta when he came off the mat. Like, if anyone's gonna get, you know, like, dude, people expect that. You know, he's got people like, you know, I don't want to say relying on him, but on some ways, like, yeah, like, you know, GF team, and you know, there's a lot of people relying on Pimenta to represent, and so it's like, well, wait a minute, he lost and he walked off the mat and he's cool and everyone still loves him.
He still has friends.
Still has friends, and none of these guys got booed. I was like, what the fuck am I worried about? Because that is, I'd say like that's probably the biggest fear of everyone competing is you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do something just stupid as hell,
get embarrassed,
just make an ass of yourself and your coach. And and then that's the thing, you're gonna walk off and just coach is gonna be sitting there and his head down and no one's gonna look at you.
You kicked out the try.
Yeah, you turn around and you're like your wife's walking off. You know what I mean?
You've thought about this.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, who had like,
you've had nightmares like, God, my wife is talking to the guy that just beat me.
I know, right? But I'm just, it's like a cliche, right? Like that's what you think. And, and in some sports, like that's not fucking too far off. Like we've all seen, you know, Ricky Bobby. Like, what happens when you're no longer on
Shake
top?
and bake,
Exactly. Again, it was a satire, but we've all seen the falls from grace from people. But that's one thing with jiu-jitsu, man. Like we really are as a community and a sport. Like you just, man. Like it just doesn't. That it's just not that, you know. And, and so
we make that story up.
Yeah, for sure. That's not our sport.
And that's
man.
not the story.
No,
no one's playing that story out.
No, man.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware
there
of.
There might be some fucked up people out there.
No, man. I mean, so anyways, that's my thoughts.
That's funny. You tied it back to Talladega Nights.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Hey, man. How do I turn the stereo and the TV on at the same time? Because I like to party.
You're in my house.
You're in my house.
Why did you keep calling me? It's such a good one, man.
It's a good way to end it. I think.
It is a good way to end it.
I got to go home. I'll pack my bag, make food for tomorrow.
Yep, I know, man.
I'm running on like 3 hours sleep, tops.
I know. I'm glad you came over. That's dedication to the cause.
Fuck yeah, man.
So, appreciate it. It's good seeing you and getting to talk about some of the shit from the tournament, and I guess we'll be back on schedule next week.
Yep.
Hit it up after training.
Yep.
So
sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I guess talk to everybody.
Call that
next
a wrap.
week.
Yep. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Thank you all for listening. You can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It really does help and will allow us to keep putting out episodes. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, hit us up at grumpyguybjj@gmail.com. Also, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com, and get signed up for podcast updates and get our free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit. That's it for now, so get on the mat, train hard, and talk to you all next week.
Down clown with a permanent friend, a hermit now, fool. Doggy school, foggy, cool, got a froggy outside Molly dude. Melvin, Colin, Daisy Duke, hanging by the lace of their shoes. No trace of the tools, shaped into face, fuck the rules. Snooze, you lose. One eye always open, in times two, no clue, but soon a brief monsoon might give you a view to choose. Stay tuned, include, won't conclude. To the end is near, beware there's consequences for what you do.